Alright, let's do this shit. Whew. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Final Fantasy 14. I'm starting to say that a little too fast, aren't I? Just picking up right where we left off last time. Newfound Adventure Part 6, I believe it is. Since I divided into 2-hour segments. Finishing up, it's probably going to be more than one stream. Like this stream, probably another one tomorrow. But we're basically finishing up 6.1. The rest of 6.1, the side quest that we still have yet to do, in preparation for 6.2, which launches the day after tomorrow. The maintenance actually starts on... Why did I not notice that gigantic spear when I upgraded her equipment before I logged off earlier? Like I think I hit level 88, yeah, on Dragoon. It has a drill on it, that's fucking cool. That's a level 88 spear, look at that. Shit. Well, that was a good volume test. Let me turn that down. There we go. For me, anyway. Anyway, that totally threw me off. I got sidetracked. But yeah, basically trying to finish the rest of 6.1 in preparation for 6.2 launching the day after tomorrow. The maintenance actually starts tomorrow night at 7 p.m. for my time. And I believe it ends at 3 a.m. the next day. Why are my controls... Almost thought it wasn't inverted like it's supposed to be, but I got a little mixed up. So yeah, it starts at 3 a.m., or it ends at 3 a.m. the next day, so... That will probably be a long, almost all-day stream of 6.2 content. I thought about it, I think I'm gonna start with MSQ. I was thinking about starting with the raids, since it's a storyline that started before Newfound Adventure. You know, with the end of Endwalker, but... Fuck it. I think I'll just do MSQ first, and then go into the normal raids, and then do everything else after that. Whatever other content they have. Island Sanctuary? I don't know if I'm going to try that yet. I might try it for like a few seconds, and then the moment I get bored or get overwhelmed with information, I'm out. Because it looks like a farming simulator, and I don't play this game to play a farming simulator, and that's why I don't craft and gather unless I absolutely have to. I'm here for the story and so I can kill shit. So yeah. Anyway. Speaking of story, our remaining side quests are yellow markers, and they're probably just gonna be a bunch of... Oh right, I gotta change my settings. It's probably gonna be a bunch of dialogue. If I seem a little sluggish today, it's because I'm tired for some reason, I'm not really sure why. Just having one of those days, like, I went to sleep on time and everything, but for some reason I'm just feeling I've been feeling pretty tired all day. So, you know, my voice acting or whatever, my overall demeanor is just, like, sluggish, that's what it is, I'm just pretty tired. What else? Alright, I have to change this. Okay, cool. So, first one on the list. I wanted to do Heartless Hypothesis first. My gut feeling is that that one is shorter, so I want to start with a nice short one first. And then we'll do Tataro's little side quests, and then do the Hildebrand quests. Depending on how long they are, like I said, it's probably going to take more than one stream. Probably like one today, another one tomorrow. I'm only planning on streaming for about 2 hours, maybe less, like 1 to 2 hours right now, because it's already kind of late. I'm trying to chill, so... Because I'm tired, so... Yeah, let's just see how far we get. A Heartless Hypothesis. The bespectacled technician is enjoying the refreshing harbor breeze. I don't have a stretching sound effect on my soundboard, but... That's blown the cobwebs away. Time to return to work. My best impression of a stretch. Goodness me, look who it is! How incredibly serendipitous that I would run into you of all people. How it always goes for me. What's up, lady? I was part of the team that designed the Ragnarok, you see. and we've recently begun the process of combing through the vessel's flight log data. The primary objective of your journey to Ultima Thule was to save our star and countless others, of course, but it also provided us with an invaluable trove of information. Records of places and events we could only dream of. Your safe return gave us much to be thankful for. As it so happens, one of the things we pulled from the log was a transmission of unknown origin, something the ship must have intercepted during its flight. We believe it to be an audio message, but even our most talented linguists have been unable to decipher the language. Okay. For a while there, it seemed we must accept defeat, but today may be the day that we finally solve the mystery. If you were so inclined, would you care to come along to Thamazane? It seems fitting to have one of the Ragnarok's original passengers present to hear history being made. Alright. An intercepted, radio signal of unknown origin? That's totally not how sci-fi horror movies start. So yeah, fuck it, I'm down. I glanced at my search info and it reminded me of the... Jesus Christ. It reminded me of the new adventure plate I made for myself. This, for anyone who's curious. It's like half serious, half meme, basically. Giving it that sort of, whoa! Giving it that edgelord look without being serious about it, basically. With both the search info and the little Moogle in the corner. Alright, what's up, lady? Ah, there you are! This is where we're to meet the engineers from Garland Ironworks, who I am told potentially hold the key to unlocking our mystery transmission. Alright. They should be along at any moment. Sorry we're late. We had some trouble finding the right... Gods, is that you, Leon? Biggs! What's up, dude? Could be this, right?
Dylan!
Yes, the man himself! Dylan? I ran into him at the harbor and thought if anyone deserved to hear this message deciphered, it was Leon Starcrest. No argument here. But bugger me if you don't have a knack for being in the right place at the right time. How long has this joke been running now? Like 3 expansions? All of FF14? I don't know, but it's been a running joke for like ever. This actually has more to do with you than you might think, so please, do stick around. Alright. You know, planning on it, so... Shall we pick up where we left off then? Mm-hmm. As I was saying, we think this transmission the Ragnarok intercepted is a message of some kind, albeit in a language entirely alien to our ears. Alien being the operative word here. Considering we received this message, the message out in the great expanse, its origin was likely some distant star. Unfortunately, our list of off-world allies is presently rather short. Thus, we were resigned to the fact that the meaning behind the message would remain beyond our understanding. One of my colleagues, however, refused to give up. She remembered the Ironworks engineers who had been so helpful in the construction of the Ragnarok and turned to them for insight into our seemingly impossible problem. That fucking smirk, dude. What the hell? Do you know what Wed said when he heard what was going on? We should have Omega listen to it. I bet it can tell us what the message means. Really? Not the Omega you beat in the Rift, of course. He's talking about the toy that trundles around with Alpha, the little model we made. Trundles? Another word I've never heard before. We originally designed it to follow a chosen target and not much else, but I've seen it act in ways that, well, it's like it has a mind of its own. Then I got to thinking about those documents your lot sent to Chief. The full report on the final days. Yeah. In the part about Omega's civilization, it said their people discovered how to convert the mind into data and store it outside the body. Yeah. Timing being what it was, I wonder if Omega didn't somehow transfer its consciousness into our model right before you put an end to the real one. People shake. That would be quite interesting. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of that, as well as to take a crack at this indecipherable message, we decided to make some modifications. With help from Labyrinthos technicians, we've upgraded our toy Omega with a fully functional vocalization model. We played the transmission for Omega, and I think it's ready to share. Hey, little buddies. Are you in there, Omega? Pause, Chan. Affirmative. If by Omega you are referring to my consciousness rather than my entire former chassis existing inside this considerably smaller frame. Holy shit! It didn't die! Prediction. You will formulate several misconceptions. These I shall preemptively dismiss based on the following facts. 1. Vocalization module aside, this chassis remains unmodified from the design constructed by the engineers Biggs and Wedge. I evaluate its combat capabilities to be on par with a mortal infant. A baby? Okay. 2. The mechanism which allowed me to perform an emergency transfer of my consciousness was installed in my previous body. With the destruction of that body, I am rendered incapable of replicating such a feat. Should this current material form be destroyed or cease to function, all cognitive awareness or presence I possess will also be lost. Holy shit. This is his last life, basically. Conclusion. I present no threat to you or your star, nor do my projections indicate the necessity to inflict harm. In the fraction of a moment before my annihilation in the rift, I re-examined my directives. I mean, it seemed like you were doing that during... I'll never forget those final moments with Omega before it died. I mean, it made me cry, like, twice. Like, every time I go through that storyline, it makes me cry a little bit. If I am to fulfill my purpose as an evolving construct, then I must continue my journey for improvement for as long as I exist. I must acquire this heart of yours. This strength of soul. Well, there you have it. And it's not wrong about its combat capabilities. It'd be more likely to damage itself than the thing it was trying to attack. But let's not forget the reason we brought you here in the first place. What about the transmission they played for you? Did you recognize the language? This really... I gotta pause for a moment. I was like, this really warms my heart to know that Omega's still here. I really thought Omega was just gone. Like, dead after that, you know? Especially when you unlock the Savage content for the last raid, and you hear its, like, final words to you, its final transmission that it leaves behind on that machine. It just... Again, it makes Omega's, like, death hit that much harder because of how I thought of it back then. Like, it's a tragedy that it turned out the way it did. We didn't need to be enemies, we didn't need to fight and all that stuff, yada yada. That's what makes me choke up about that storyline, right? But I'm kind of glad to know that Omega's actually still around. And not a bad guy anymore, I guess. Just a little toy. a little miniature model of itself. Affirmative. It was transmitted in Pan-Galactic Pan-Galactic Basic. Okay, some kind of sci-fi, some kind of new sci-fi fucking fantasy programming language? Pan-Galactic Basic? A common language in comparatively extensive usage throughout the worlds we have conquered. Okay. Which means you can finally tell us what the message said. That is a language you understand, yes? I understand it perfectly. I am fluent in over 6 million distinct dialectal codings. Yep. My cooperation in this matter, however, is conditional. Really? Elaboration. Your chief Sid utilizes the floor as part of this unorthodox filing system, which allowed me to scan the report on the final days. Oh, so he probably knows about the Omicrons and their fate. I'm guessing that's where this is going. Those are his people. Its people, I should say. I am aware that my home star, the one you call Alphatron, was obliterated in the aftermath of Sir and Meteon's meeting. Yeah. The existence of Dynamis has not previously factored into my projections, but I now comprehend the concept, in theory. And Dynamis is heavily related to what he was just talking about. The whole... what was it? The strength of the soul, the heart? It's pretty much that. It's pretty much Dynamis if we were to give it a tangible form. Well, semi-tangible. What fails to compute is why the Omicrons were not immune to its effects. Dynamis should have no influence on a race which possesses no heart. Oh, shouldn't that give you a sigh of relief? It means you actually have a chance of acquiring a soul, or a heart. If you can interact with Dynamis, then you have one. And yet, Sir expressed to Meteon a desire to cease existing. Illogical. I must pursue this anomaly further, until the full equation becomes clear to me. I must analyze all the elements of the final days, and deepen my understanding of the heart's intangible properties. To expedite this process, I require an external interpretation of those sections of the report which continue to produce errors in my calculations. Okay. I request the assistance of Leon Starcrest. As one who experienced the ravages of ultimate despair on multiple fronts and displayed immeasurable heart in engineering my defeat, he is the optimal choice to fulfill this role. So we either agree to your conditions or you tell us nothing. I'm sorry to put you in a spot like this, Leon. If you have the time and the patience to spare, we'd all be grateful if you could humor the toy's demands. Sure. I don't mind. I did want to see Omega go through... I mean, one of the reasons I cried is because Omega didn't get a chance to go through a redemption arc. So, I'd love to see that. Alpha's just like... As Alpha dozed off, I suppose the subject was a bit technical. Look. Rouse yourself, Alpha. You must listen to and consider these matters, even as I must. Bye. He's like, leave me alone, I'm falling asleep, fool. Why don't you make a trip out of it? You know, actually visit the places that has the things Omega wants to ask about. It'll make explaining stuff easier for one, and also help keep Alpha awake and alert. This is really cute. I like where this is going. What a remarkable development. Biggs and Wedge told me much of your encounter with Omega before we began. And now that we have the Omicron's weapon talking, there are so many questions I am simply dying to ask. Back when we were first exploring our options, we did actually consider playing the transition to the inhabitants of Ultima Thule. The problem is, we would be dealing with beings recreated through Dynamis. Their communication is based on emotional energy, and anything lacking that vital component would likely fail to register. That rules out a recorded message, and so we focused on the resources we had to hand. Yeah, we had to hand. Never dreaming that the solution would all but fall into our lap. Couple things before we keep going. Based on what Omega just said, I guess it's safe to assume they're pretty much setting the timeline straight here, showing that Omega and, you know, its people, the Omicrons, attacked and destroyed Midgard Stormer's world before Meteon was a thing. They did that, and then Midgard Stormer fled here to Atheris with Omega chasing it. And it was somewhere during that long-ass chase across the universe that Meteon did her thing and, you know, explored other planets and eventually came across Alphatron, met Sir, you know, the AI we saw that desired to die, and then, you know, that happened and Omega never knew a damn thing about it. Omega had no idea what the hell happened to its home, Alphatron, in its absence while it was chasing Midgard Stormer across the Sea of Stars. Damn. I guess it makes sense. The fact that Omega attacked Midgard Stormer's planet and then chased Midgard Stormer all the way here, but all of that took, you know, as long, whatever span of time it was. What was it, 10,000 years, right? Between when the Sundering actually happened, which was shortly after Meteon escaped Aetheris, and then Midgard's Horma arrived. Because by the time Midgard's Horma arrived here, and you know Omega chasing behind it, I believe, yeah, the world had already been sundered because he met Hydaelyn, who was at that point already the will of the star and everything. So yeah, the Sundering happened shortly after, but before shortly after the war between the dragons and the Omicrons, but before the Sundering, basically. By the time Omega and Midgard's Horma got here, the Sundering had already happened. Omega has been an outright terror to us in the past, but it's almost strange how little it frightens me now. It helps that it's trapped inside that tiny model, of course. And that it follows Alpha around like a puppy. But most of all, I remember the Chief telling me how much it sounded like a lost child there at the end. You mean... when we defeated Omega? Yeah. That's what made me choke up about it. I bet the Chief won't see this one coming. Once he gets over the shock, though, I don't think he'll want us to destroy Omega. Excuse me. Nero, on the other hand. You'll want to use the model for some dangerous experiment. In fact, maybe we should put off making a report for now. Good idea. Alpha? What? I see you have chosen the mutually beneficial option. Logical. Sure. Setting aside the matter of Sir, there are 3 elements of the report on which I desire clarification. The first of these concerns the progression of the final days in Rothatan. I recognize no pattern in those who succumb to the transformation and those who do not. That's a bit of a trek if you wanted to chat with the locals. How about we lend you an airship? We do not require such outmoded technology. Leon's teleportation spell is the most efficient option for long-distance travel. Thank you! Finally fucking someone says it! They acknowledge teleportation as a means of getting around. They rarely did. I know they did that in Endwalker, but still, most MSQ, they don't really acknowledge it too much. They're always like, alright, let's head over there. And they walk off instead of teleporting, the characters. When they say that let's go to some place on the other side of the world, and then they walk off instead of saying, let's teleport. They rarely acknowledge its existence. Rarely, but they do. This chassis is a model, essentially a toy. An Alpha, despite his organic composition, is indistinguishable from a stuffed doll. True. Conclusion? We qualify as material possessions. Pick us up, and you can teleport the 3 of us to our destination. Okay. Begin Omega's journey for answers. Yeah, let's do it. This is really cute and wholesome. I like where this is going. Alright guys, let's do this. See, this is like the only time I can think of where they actually show your character using their teleportation magic spell in a cutscene. And hey, it was free. Didn't cost us a fucking dime. What? Look! Sensors indicate we have arrived in Rothatan. Objective: identify factors for resistance to involuntary transformation. Hypothesis: unaltered survivors of the final days will display significant strength of heart. Confirming this theory will require the cooperation of live subjects. Where is the ward designated for residential habitation? Understood. Comma, set as our sub-destination. Please take the lead and select the subjects we are to interview. Omega and Alpha are now accompanying you, of course. What? This body has no advanced navigational or geoscanning functionality. You must lead the way. I got my posse, man! Look at him go, dude! It's very cute and funny to see Omega running around like that. Quack. Alpha chirps enthusiastically, apparently unfazed by the prospect of climbing the stairs. Okay. And you? Warning, please avoid stairs whenever possible. My projections indicate high-risk probability for accidental slippage leading to catastrophic structural damage. Stepped inclines also increase my energy consumption by 63%. In mortal terms, they tire me out. Anyway, taking into account the difference in individual limb length, the design is inherently flawed. A convenient step height for one is an exhausting trial for another. Oh, yeah. See? Omega's making a case for Lollifells right now. He's like, look at those fucking stairs. That ain't fair to Lollifells. Like, normal-sized people, like, dude, actually, they're even big for me. Look at that shit. They go up, like, past my knee. I never realized how big those steps were. It's like, they're made for fucking Rogadins and shit. Yeah. Like, making step sizes for, like, Cures or Rogadins, Hrothgars, it's not gonna feel very pleasant for smaller races, basically. The Omega's fighting for the little guy, the Lollifells. Were I to oversee the civic design of this settlement, I would construct a sloped conveyor belt which enabled automatic traversal. Like at airports, yeah. Zero personal energy expenditure. Yeah, see? Yeah, look at this! It actually, it's past my knee, dude. Even for me, this is exhausting. Holy shit. Anyway. I'll be kind and I'll forego the stairs and we'll just teleport to where we need to go. Which is... there. You know, when I watch a few playthroughs of, when I watch people do their first playthrough of Endwalker, I noticed when 6.0 was fresh, you couldn't do that. You actually, if you had people following you like this, you literally had to get there manually. You couldn't teleport. You would lose them and have to go back to the starting point. You had to run everywhere if you had people following you like this. But I guess in 6.1 or later or something, they made it so that, you know, you can teleport with Aetherites and they still are with you. Huh. Hmm? Are you a traveler? Please, if you have a moment, I could use an outsider's perspective. Well, this will be mutually beneficial then, because we wanted to talk to you too. You see, I was one of those who sought to escape the madness plaguing the world by fleeing to the moon. Not that we ever went in the end. So here I am, recently returned from Charlian. Except now things are strained between my sister and I, since she chose to stay and I chose to leave. Oh man, yeah. I asked her to help me find work, and she suggests I look somewhere that isn't Favnir. As if I wanted to abandon my home. It makes me so angry. Flip, your point is unclear. You elected to relocate to the star's satellite, thus your relative now perceives you in a negative light? Yeah, pretty much. Your sibling's judgment is an error. Based on the information made available to honest citizens, your decision to withdraw to the moon was both logical and correct. Conversely, the decision to remain in Rajathan despite the low probability of survival defies explanation. Perhaps her reasoning pathways are faulty. That's right. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I'm right, aren't I? He gets the sentiment, yeah. Or so I'd like to think. The problem is, I understand why my sister feels this way. I almost decided against going myself. Even then, I wasn't sure that leaving behind everything I loved was the right choice. And with the way it all turned out, I know, I should be having this talk with my sister. I'll go and see her once I get my thoughts in order. Thank you for listening to my troubles. No problem, buddy. Man, that sucks. Even though people survived the final days, like, and it's now behind us, it definitely left a scar. It left an emotional scar in more ways than one, you know? Not just people who were lost, wounded, you know, but also this. It obviously tore up some relationships. Oh, hello again. You're the one who came to ask me questions about Cosmo. Yep. I'm glad to see you looking well after all that unpleasantness. More or less, yeah. I remember the burning skies and hearing the screams, but truth be told, I'm still confused as to what actually happened. Excuse me? I only know it wasn't unusual for entire families to go missing. And again, many of my neighbors' houses lie empty even now. Kalzal's place is one of them. He had no close relatives to speak of, and I heard that it was members of the consortium who came to remove his belongings. Damn. What a terrible thing to have to do. Flip. Terrible? Caldwell's passing was recorded in the report. Clearing out his domicile and readying it for new habitation seems an appropriate reallocation of resources. Dear me, what a clever little contraption. But of course, I'm not against making use of his quarters. That would be wasteful. It's simply that Caldwell was always such a vigorous person. All that passion, all those dreams, suddenly gone. Excuse me. I feel the same sorrow for everyone who was lost, seeing the remnants of those vibrant lives packed away in boxes. That is what I mean by terrible. I hope Omega can actually understand the sentiment here. I feel like it's Omega's last chance to really grasp what heart and soul really means, and well, I guess learn how to interact with Dynamis, which is essentially what Omega's been wanting to do. Though Dynamis didn't have a name back then. We just referred to it as heart and soul, right? And Thavnarians called it Akasha. Hey, don't I know you? Yes, after the beasts were taken care of. You told me to join everyone in the square. I remember you. Thanks to you, I was there when Vitra gave his speech. And I found out who Varshan really was. Vitra, yeah. It's a shame we don't get to play like we used to, but Mama says Vitra has been busy putting the city back in order. Maybe I can work for him one day when I'm a man grown. Vitra, Midgard's former's offspring, yes? And this child wishes to put himself at the worm's command, so that he might make his own contribution to society. A pattern emerges. I predict that the Hana survivors are those who had ingested Vitra's blood, and became his draconic minions. What? Though dragons were no match for our civilization's might, their combat capabilities are not to be underestimated. It is unlikely they would experience emotions of dread or uncertainty as exhibited by lesser beings in times of undue stress. Dragons? I'm not a dragon, and I never ingested anyone's blood either. Ew. You are not a Vitra's horde? So you possess no hidden means to fight off the beasts? What of fear then? You were frightened? Yes, I was frightened. I just hid and hoped they wouldn't find me. At least until he told me it was safe to come out. Leon, I require a moment to process this input. Let us move apart and discuss our findings. Alright. I'm rooting for you, Omega. You got a second chance at life, buddy. Don't squander it, please. Bye. Flip. Processing data. Evaluating hypothesis against accumulated evidence. I offered an optimal analysis of each subject's testimony, yet each time their responses conflicted with my assessment. Without identifying the root cause of this conflict, I will be unable to properly define what constitutes strength of heart. Oh, that's mean. Perhaps this matters beyond you. I don't want to give up on Omega. I guess I'll say this one. I don't really know what to say. Perhaps the heart you seek lies in the conflict itself? An interesting observation. It is possible my base criteria is an error. In which case, it is imperative that I continue this learning process and repair any fundamental misconceptions. Next, I wish to interact with an individual who endured similar circumstances to Kalzal prior to his transformation. Are you acquainted with any local merchants who had dealings with him? Oh, I know one. And he almost transformed if it's the one I'm thinking of. Oh no, it's someone else. Flip! Jinabaha Ruveda Fibers? Acknowledged. Sub-destination set. Uh-oh. Can they make that? Okay. Well, well, look who it is! I must thank you again for your help in moving our textiles. Recovering from those tragic events has been difficult, of course. But with everyone pulling together, we've managed to get things back up and running. Yunabaha, I come with questions related to that tragedy, specifically your survival of the final days. Although you are similar to Kalzal in many respects, he succumbed to the transformation and you did not. Why? What is the critical difference between you and him? What? I'm sure I don't know. Not especially brave or courageous, if that's what you're asking. Perhaps being focused on protecting our workshops kept me from spinning into a panic. Still, I imagine Kalzal would have been feeling that same sense of responsibility. Perhaps the weight of it all is what invited his demise. You were of the same mind, resolved to the same purpose. Yet your strength of heart, of spirit, was not equal. If merely emulating the individual is insufficient, then some other unseen factor must be involved. Not to interrupt these deep philosophical musings, but do you think I could ask you a small favor? Sure. What's up, dude? There's a man by the name of Nashvan who's been helping us out here while he gets back on his feet. I have a feeling he'd benefit from speaking with you. Leave by the eastern exit, and you should find him just outside, organizing some new inventory items. Okay. Discuss the Thavnaran weave. Quick. Alpha puffs out his chest proudly, seeming to imply that his Ironworks uniform is the best attire anyone could wear. What about you, Omega? The equipment being manufactured here, it is worn to perform specific duties, yes? Conceptually, it seems analogous to our practice of it switching frames to better serve our mission objectives. Well, yeah, I guess that's one way of looking at it, yeah. I, for example, did not begin existence with the Omega model. I was originally supplied with a standard issue Omicron chassis serial number M017. I meant to say 17, not 7. M017. On this world, the alphanumeric combination would be considered my given name. Such designations are drawn from our nearly infinite register of celestial bodies to avoid the possibility of duplication. Right. Furthermore, the cluster known as M17 is better expressed in your language as the Omega Nebula, the same word I used to introduce myself to your kind. Okay. Though you associate Omega with the advanced weapon construct, it is also my name. And I see no reason to change it no matter which frame I inhabit. Yeah, I'm starting to see a little bit of, the way he said that, it is also my name, and I see no reason to change it, despite changing bodies, basically. See, it's there. You can see hints of it, right? Little cracks of Omega's soul peeking through. I feel like something that was completely soulless wouldn't say something like that. Yeah, I think Omega's heart is just starting to peek out a little bit, even though Omega doesn't realize it itself. Because it has a sense of identity. More than you would just expect from traditional AI, basically. Well, it's hard to explain, but, I mean, this is the heart and soul we're talking about. It's intangible, so it is hard to talk about sometimes. Find the right words for it and all that. That's all our orders accounted for, and everything looks to be of good quality. Kamala will be pleased. You were with the Scions! You were there. Yes, I'm sure of it. I'll never forget that day. You and your friends helped us escape when people began changing into beasts. My own son, he was afflicted. And that huge monstrosity loomed right over him and... Oh shit, I remember this. The scene that broke my heart here in Radha during the final days, yeah. Jesus Christ. Well, the first one. In Dabner, I should say, but... then the one that hit me harder was the baby almost transforming, but... Jesus Christ, yeah, I remember that. That poor guy. That poor kid, yeah. He transformed and then he got stepped on by the bigger one that was coming up behind it. That was gross and disgusting and horrific. That was traumatizing. I remember my heart turning to ice, freezing in place. The Satrap came to my aid, but then he too was gone. And then Grahatia kept you from transforming at the last minute when you were about to... Yeah. This was the guy that Grahatia topped down right before he transformed, when all that happened. Oh, there it is. Okay, there's Grahatia. There it is. I remember this guy. The memories run together in my mind, like flashes from a nightmare. Only the words of your comrades still ring clear. I repeated them over and over like a mantra as I fled for my life. You must run, for their sake and your own. Good old Crystal Exarch. It all seemed so surreal, which was probably what saved me from the transformation. The truth of it didn't begin to sink in until the worst of it was over. I have not the words to describe how I felt then. The sorrow, the overwhelming sense of helplessness. I may still be wallowing in misery if not for my old friend, Dinabaha. I'd lost my will to work, and he encouraged me with kind words and odd jobs. Now, somehow, I live again. I am thankful to him, to the courageous Ahewan, and to you. If you see your comrades, please let them know their efforts were not in vain. I'll tell them. First day back after taking a break, and already I'm crying again, man. You said you lost your will to work. This signifies the cessation of efforts to maintain basic life functions, yes? That's one way of putting it, yeah. What changed to extract you from that stagnation? An offer of work from Jinabaha should mean little to one without the desire to accept it. Was it some manner of mortal instinct? A primal need to survive and thrive? Instinct? No. No, it wasn't that. If anything, my instincts were telling me to lay down and welcome an end to the pain. I'm sorry, I've said it way too many times before already, but it just hits too close to home when people say things like that. I've been there one too many times, you know. It's a little rough. Every day I think of my boy's final moments. I think of how scared he must have been, how it must have hurt, and I want to scream my throat raw. The Satrap too still haunts my dreams. I see him being swallowed whole, then jolt awake in a cold sweat. But something changed when Jinabaha came to me. I looked up and saw that, even without my son, or Ahewan, the world around me continued to turn. And because that fact grieved me so, I knew it fell to me to live on and remember them. Strange, isn't it? What drives me to rise in the morning is the very sorrow which once crippled me. Funny how our greatest weakness can become our greatest strength, yeah. Now I really must return to my work. to lose this job after everything I just said would be a poor jest indeed. May the sisters keep you well. Buddy? I can't hold it back right now. It's really getting to me. Remembering everything that happened in Endwalker, and then how the theme of it and this, everything just hits so close to me, or it hits home for me. It's overwhelming me right now. Whew. Sorrow. Sorrow. The emotion generated by mortals when their ideals fail to materialize. This I have observed. Yet when I listen to how Nashwan's sorrow served to rescue him from near fatal despondency, his logic eludes me. Am I incapable of perceiving the full measure of the heart's properties? My best projections fail to predict our subjects' responses. Despite their almost equal occupational and mental parameters, Jinabaha and Kalzal exhibited different reactions to the dynamis effect. I am no closer to recognizing the pattern for involuntary transformations, and your ephemeral mortal spirits confound me as much, if not more, than they did before. Have you considered that there is no pattern to the people afflicted? Emotions, the heart and soul, can be, well, it pretty much is, by definition almost, completely irrational. Therefore, you can't really find a pattern in that. It just reminds me of, not to get too scientific here, but I mean, Omega's doing that, right? Obviously. It reminds me of a saying that psychologists have, where they say you can't predict what one person is going to do, but you can predict what large numbers of people are going to do. It's very strange how that works. Like, you can find patterns of behavior in humans when you analyze large groups of people, large crowds especially if they're moving in a crowd consciously. The herd mentality really kicks in, and then you can really predict what people are going to do. We see this now on the internet. Before it was in like public demonstrations and stuff like that, but with the internet now we see it on social media, right? We see the herd mentality and group mind think and these little social bubbles with different belief systems and all that. You see that all over the place in social media, and you see what I'm talking about, right? But when somebody's alone or acting alone, it's a lot harder to predict what they're going to do, unless you really know them on a deep personal level. And that right there kind of lends credence to that idea that, yeah, the heart and soul are irrational. Emotions are irrational. Therefore, it's really hard to predict what someone's going to do based on what they're feeling. Everybody reacts to the emotions that they have very differently. Something that can bring someone to tears can give someone else perhaps also sadness, but not so much to bring them to tears, but instead motivate them to want to do something about it. Exactly what we just saw right now, basically. Kalzan felt the despair and transformed. Somebody else feeling the exact same emotions didn't react the same way. So it's, yeah, the unpredictability of individuals based on our irrational emotions. And, you know, all that stuff, basically. Yeah. So yeah, maybe there is no pattern, dude. Bloop. No pattern. You imply that the transformation was not contingent on individual fortitude, but rather a random contribution of environmental factors? Pretty much. But the theory would explain the otherwise conflicting data. Very well. I shall accept this as a provisional conclusion to this part of my investigation. I do, however, expect you to continue supplementing my education of heart-related matters. That's fine. I don't mind. I like how Alpha's just here to act all cute. A cheerful little pick-me-up he is. This quest line is just bringing me back to to Endwalker and all the emotions I felt throughout that story. It's just... I can't help but keep choking up over and over. Gonna make for a long-ass video, I guess, but... fuck it. I can't help myself. Quick! Quick! What's next? Goodbye. So, as far as I know, when they use those symbols, like when they were doing that in Ultima Soul, you're supposed to look at their shape and discern a word from that. That's what I saw other streamers do when they were playing through Endwalker, so... maybe it doesn't always apply, but... maybe that says... Goodbye, Delta? Maybe? What the fuck knows? Anyway, I gotta get some water, man. My throat's drying up, and like I'm legitimately like choking up and crying a little bit, and I'm like hardly secreting any tears. I'm like, dude, I am parched. Like, I'm way too dehydrated. And I know why too. It's what I ate earlier. It's a food that, for me personally, is something that dehydrates the hell out of me after I eat it. But I don't really feel its effects until a couple hours later. And I ate dinner a couple hours ago, so it makes sense. So yeah, I'll be back in just a second. And then we'll continue. But yeah, I gotta get some water first. There we go. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Goddamn. When you're thirsty as fuck, water tastes like milk or whatever. Insert your favorite beverage. It tastes really just like sweet and just amazing. Unfortunately, I'm still a little full from that said food from earlier, so I can't really drink too much, but that's a good start. But yeah, the food in question, basically, like, maybe it's just me, maybe it is something other people experience, but it's like bread. Because I basically ate a large, like, sub sandwich, whatever they like to call them. It's not from Subway, it was from a different place, a local mom and pop shop, but it was basically an oven-baked sandwich. You know, with standard, like, ham and cheese and some vegetables, you know, lettuce, tomato. But for some reason, this particular sandwich from this local shop that I get, I don't know if it's the way it's baked, or maybe it also had, like, mayonnaise, mustard, stuff like that. Maybe it's just the ingredients themselves, no matter where I, you know, eat them from. But whenever I eat these particular sandwiches, I always get really fucking dehydrated a few hours later. Like, if I yawn, tears also don't come out, and they usually do. But yeah, I noticed it right now when I was kind of like tearing up a little bit. Very little liquid was coming out of my eyes, but also while I was narrating and voice acting the characters, my mouth was starting to feel really dry. I was like, oh shit, I need water. So yeah, I don't know what it is. Let me take one more sip before we go. Oh, one more gulp. Yeah, that should hold me over for a bit. Anyway. Our next destination will be Kent Brokenglass. I desire elaboration on the dealings between the Ilsabard contingent and the citizens of Garlemald. God damn it. We're going on another fields trip. The report described the contingent's purpose as the salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions faced a common enemy in the Talothloi. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefit? That's something a lot of us in the contingent were actually wondering ourselves, but the answer became pretty clear pretty quick. All that I remember, I just had a flashback of Quintus's suicide when he shot himself. This inconsistency requires closer examination. Leon, initiate teleportation. Alright. Puts his hand on his chest. That's not the right animation. You did it in the last cutscene, do it again. Excuse me. Quick! Quick! I think Alpha's cold. Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs. A cold weather region by Aetheric standards, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. This body should not be unduly impeded. In contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering, my frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Retrieving data. Records indicate that remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. Okay. We must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their respective attitudes. Flip. Proceed. Okay, cool. Leon? Come to see how things are progressing, have you? Yeah, you could say that. I can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has become a damn sight easier since Euless and his soldiers stepped in to help. Trying to get everybody in the shot here. Oh, we still face our fair share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving minds with our foreign magics. We have Anima to thank for putting that idea in their heads. But all things considered, I'd say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query, you consider this level of progress acceptable? The reality of your efforts falls far short of the ideal. If your aim is to provide sufficient succor to the local populace, then absorbing their numbers into your command structure would be the optimal path. Yeah, that's how they thought too. Garleans... yeah, imperialism, right? Just, why don't we just absorb them and make them our people? Oh, I want to go that far. We're not looking to take over their nation. Exactly. If we're to do this the right way, we need to recognize and respect each other's way of life. But while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent's slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. I'm Alamigan, but I was also an Imperial conscript until not so long ago. Oh, he's the one who gave Euless the little... what's it called? The cup with the soup in it or whatever. The coffee, the tea, whatever it was. Yeah, when he gave him the cup, and then Euless started crying because, you know, he was overwhelmed by everything that had happened and was just happy to finally feel safe and alive for once and forever. All those emotions that came crashing down on him. God, that scene gets interrupted horribly by Fandaniel teleporting you away and then stealing your body or whatever, but that scene is just so... It got... Every time I replayed through, like on my alts, I rewatched it and just can't help but tear up at it. It's just so good. And then I saw, I think, the interview we saw with Famitsu, right? We watched it on stream a couple weeks ago, I think. They said, I think Yoshi P said he also cries at that scene every time too. It's a good one. That one and the one with Urianger. Holy shit. When Urianger sees Moonbreeda's parents. That one hits just as hard. Holy shit. It's... Alright, I gotta stay focused. Okay, I read the first part. Now, I was lucky enough to have a decent commanding officer. Many Garleans treated provincials like we were less than people. On the other hand, natives of Alamigo didn't think much of us either. I guess that's my roundabout way of saying I'm surprised this contingent was even formed in the first place. I feel fortunate to be a part of it. Right. You know what? I'm kind of wondering, do I have, did I ever get the Omega Minion? I don't think I did. It's really cute. I don't think I have it yet. No, I haven't grinded whatever Omega fight it is. I think I might have accidentally rolled a pretty high number on it, with an alternate character. I think one of my alts actually does have it. Just by luck. I didn't get it on Leon though. And I've actually ran through that raid twice now, I think, on this character, right? Couple times. I haven't been lucky enough though. A shadow from the past? Yes, I know you from Victor Spoils. Have you come to laugh at me? A wretch who chose to lose Licinia and her sister rather than accept your help? The fool who ended up reliant upon your charity nonetheless? No, dude, I'm not here to make fun of you. I understand why you did what you did. Even if it led to the death of those two, like you said, but still, I get it. Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scorn my failed conviction. I have shamed my people and brought dishonor upon my nation. I am no better than a captive beast, my pride sold for a bowl of feed. But my soul, nay, that you shall not have! I refuse your honeyed offers of a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. Look, you demonstrate opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggests the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival? Or do your orders compel you to accept your present misfortune? What? Must I be mocked by a Magitech toy now? No, I have no secret strategy. No binding orders. I but comport myself as any true Garlean patriot would. Uncompromising. Unbending. Blast it all! Yeah, you hate yourself for it, yeah. I was like, yeah, you hate yourself for it. And he confirms it with that. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let us move aside and process what we have heard. Alright, you do get the alpha minion no matter what though. That comes with the quest completion. See the size difference between... Dude! I can't help but sense, like, a good... I think... Though this is the storyline that was spoiled for me, which I'm really pretty sure it was. It is. Yeah, this one, back when I was in Stormblood. The one that was spoiled for me. Loki. Like, not the details at least, but the fact that it was a continuation of the Omega storyline, but I didn't know that. And I think we can redo it. Which, if we can, good. Because that means I can actually, like, maybe take a good G-pose pick or something of these three. The wind-up alpha, the real alpha. There's a good fucking provisional one in the meantime. Damn it, Alpha, why'd you move? He's independent, that's why. Fuck, they were in such a good spot. Now they're like... Now him and Omega are like, I got another idea. Oh, wait, it doesn't... Damn it, I can't do it then. It won't work. But I can't type while the... I want to do this, basically. Maybe I can using G-pose real quick. How did I get him to move away from Omega? I don't remember how I did that. What did I do? How did I desync them just now? Oh. Oh shit. Luck? I think I just moved randomly and I moved them. I don't know how to do it consistently. How to get them to not move in the same exact spot like that so they're overlapping. I don't know what the hell I did. Shit. Because I want them standing together, but not, like, glued to each other either, you know? I'm not gonna keep trying this too long, so we gotta go, but... let me give it one more shot. I'm not sure how it is I get them to move. See, you can get them to move separately. Sometimes. So I wanted to do this. But while looking at one of them. Like that. But I can't do that unless I put it on the hotbar. Let me see. Put it here. I don't know why I even have shrug. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, I want to spam the chat box for anybody else who comes by. Maybe I could fix it by doing this. Bastard moved at the last second. There we go. Boy, yes. I think that should have come out good. Good enough, I think. Little group photo. I think I'm good. I'll leave that there for now. Quiet. Alright, let's keep going. Let's keep our little posse together. I gotta go get the Omega Minion now. It's too cute listening to its little footsteps, you know? Anything else? That's this one spot. Yeah. Why? Accessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated this most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Ratatan. Consistent only in their inconsistency, the responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron considering their predicaments would have echoed my assessment exactly. Yeah, fair enough. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis. The illogical relationship between would-be saviors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. Yeah. Look. Any property or ability has inherent advantages and disadvantages. Yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. It appears that those who share your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. That's what emotions do, yeah? They kind of throw a wrench in rational thinking. For better or worse. An undesirable quality. I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of the subject. Yin-yang is everywhere. You can't have one without the other. It's one of those situations. You can't have the good without the bad. Like, our irrational emotions can give us a lot of strength where we otherwise wouldn't be able to find any. Expressed in this game as Akasha Dynamis. Expressed in combat through limit break techniques and stuff like that, right? The willingness to not give up. But that also comes with things like this. Cultural baggage that can overcomplicate things, relationships between people, and also cause you to give up when you probably shouldn't. When there wouldn't be any rational basis for it. For giving up on life, basically. You can't have one without the other, basically. Our greatest strength can be our greatest weakness at the same time. Something that they've already talked about in the Omega storyline at the very end. Query. Prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know, who is this Licinia the Imperial mentioned? Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable and ultimately fatal action. Yeah. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquests. Overwhelmed enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions, leading to a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential data request. I wish to learn about burial customs, The practice has ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggests it arises from the same source as your cognitive complications. Yeah, pretty much. Take me to this Licinia's burial site. It may aid me in understand and... Look. You alright? So even Alpha's like, oh shit! Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Oh god! Blip. Warning. Immediate heating required. Request. Apply friction to outer frame. Oh my god, are you serious? Friction? Why not just take it to a fire? Well, fire is... yeah. I suppose you could think of heat in general as a form of friction. I suppose, yeah. What? Panicking. Hold on, Alpha, we got this. One second. There we go. Blip, blip. Temperature nominal. Energy level stabilizing. So I'm guessing it just grabbed him with like that. Well, so much for your chassis being, not susceptible to cold climate. I guess you were wrong about that. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning. Impaired cognitive reasoning during the design process. I don't think they designed it for cold weather. For extremely cold temperatures. Upon our return, I will request additional climate shielding, as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities, but should improve my basic survival rate. You almost died, dude! Reconfirming sub-destination. In which direction will we find Victor's spoils? Yep, acknowledged. Alpha, you are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You are permitted to carry me on your back if you so choose. It's a funny way of asking for warmth. Omega is so cute and endearing in its own way. Asking for warmth basically by cuddling, but spoken in such a cold, rational way. With such cold, rational words. It's awesome. Dude, that shit, the clouds in the sky, they look fucking real, man. We haven't even gotten a proper graphics update on this game yet, and it already... That horizon, that skyline looks amazing. Where? What? What? Oh, there's somebody there. Hold on. I don't know if they're just here because of the quest line or... I also don't know if the music is gone for a reason or if it's just a coincidence. Yeah, this is where that all went down. Look, a deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me, but we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Look, caution advised. An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. Well, they are part of the quest. Hmm? You're Eorzea's champion, aren't you? Leon Starcrest. Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I am Manius, soldier of the 1st Legion and comrade of Euless. Perhaps you remember me from Tertium? We spoke about collecting ceruleum, and again later on after Lord Quintus had passed. Manius. Explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? That must be the tiniest Magitech weapon Ah, no. It's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? Sure. In any case, I have nothing worthy to report. I heard that the sisters who used to live in my sector were buried here, so I thought I'd come and pay my respects. The exact music that played when they died, too. Alpino and Alize told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are in any place to judge. They were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection which led to countless deaths among our own countrymen. Objection. The casualties incurred through your infighting are distinct from those caused by the Ilsabard contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution from the contingent for causing the deaths of Licinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Leon and his allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. He's finally getting it. Tell me, which of these is correct? Well, when you lay it out like that... I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any medals, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? Sure. There's the unspoken thought that we're outmatched on the battlefield, certainly, but the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. The simple truth is, I'm so caught up with simple survival that I've no strength to spare for past grievances. That does happen too. The same goes for avenging any comrades we've lost, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. Although it seems everyone has an opinion about the manner of his passing. Some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility and freeing us to walk our own path. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? I'll save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. I need to focus on the ones left behind, on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to learn to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matter that they are outsiders? It's too bad Lucinia and her sister didn't see it that way at the time, though. Besides, I think I could grow to like Alfino and Alize. They reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. Yeah. Summation. Your desire to survive, even should it mean allying with the contingent, was a feeling you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented later to justify your reasoning. Blunt, but accurate, I suppose. The heart is honest about what it wants, even if the mind takes a while to reconcile the decision. It's very true. Oh, I'm just pondering what I said. I zoned out like Omega, I guess. Well, this has been oddly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to cull, watchfires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there's no rest for an imperial. Be well and stay safe. You too, buddy. You too. Look, upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I have been formulating my assessments on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart. But the data suggests the opposite is true. The surge of spirit, of feelings, of emotions, can entangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. This also explains why my interactions with mortal subjects have produced more confusion than clarification. It presents a formidable barrier to understanding. Trying to get a profoundly rational being to understand the irrationality of human emotions. Quite the challenge. I feel like it'll be equally challenging to get real-life artificial intelligence to understand the same thing. Where? Look. My earlier hypothesis has been borne out. A suboptimal operation being conducted here is the result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I am ready to progress to my third and final query. Okay. I would learn more about those referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group was a crucial factor of the final days, but the information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. Aloperates are creations of the ancients and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of these moon dwellers will provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us to their burrow, Leon. Preferably before my battery freezes over. Well, this should be a much nicer change of pace, right? Claire! Claire! Yeah, see, Alpha agrees. He's just glad to be out of this fucking cold. Oh, shit. Your teleportation spell was successful. We appear to have arrived at the location described as Bestway's Burrow. Oh, that's why it's called Bestway's Burrow, meaning like where a little bunny rabbit would make their home. Can't believe it just hit me. Yeah. That's why it's called a burrow. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. I thought it was just a wacky name. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality. I will require external assistance. It's growing away. Oh, it can't be. A cute little smile. It is you! Oh, Leon, I've missed you so! What's this you brought with you? This soft, feathery vision! We've been outfluffed! Pack up the moon, it's all over! Oh my god! Why bother with burrow-building bunnies when you could walk around with this adorable avian engineer? Just bake me into a pie and be done with it. Aw, he's jealous! That's hella fucking cute, dude. Inspect our inventions? Wait, so... you're not done with us? No, dude, you're not being replaced. I wasn't truly worried, of course. I certainly wasn't about to roll myself in dough and dive into Cooking Way's new oven. Sure you weren't. Jesus Christ, man. If a technical breakdown is what you need, then I am your Loperate. As a resident atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Alright. Flip. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory. Even locked within my current chassis, I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycles. I am capable of completing this simple objective alone. Okay, dude. Do what you gotta do. Omega here going on the trip saying, I'm a big boy, I can take care of myself, basically. Look after him, Alpha. Alpha and Omega traveling together. The beginning and the end. Side by side. Or whatever the hell their names are supposed to refer to. I can't quite get it straight in my head yet. I heard people refer to God as the Alpha and the Omega, right? Something like that. Objective complete. Well, that was fast. What happened to Growing Way? After my 50th question, his responses began to suffer noticeable delays. He got bored, didn't he? By that stage, we had viewed a representative cross-section of Loperate engineering, thus I deemed it unnecessary to retain his company. Okay. Alpha's little expressions. Conclusion. Extrapolating from the fraction of technology on display, the full spectrum of the Ancients' advancements was, at minimum, equivalent to a level 4 civilization. That sounds about right, yeah. I'm guessing they're referring to the level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 civilizations concept in real life, I believe. That refers to like how advanced the civilization is. That's something I saw a YouTube video on a long time ago, but I can't remember all of it. The details. A fact which demands further investigation. Despite establishing a near-ideal society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. By the way, it just now dawned on me, like just a split second before I started saying that. The Aetheryte is the same shape as the ones on Elpis. And it makes perfect fucking sense why, with this conversation right now. Because that Aetheryte was obviously designed by Eidolon and her little Loperates. Or just the Loperates, you know, with what she taught them when she created them. And she's obviously an ancient, she's from that era, so she taught them to make an Aetheryte to look like this. Like the Aetherites from Elpis, basically. Yeah, now that explains everything. Why this Aetheryte looks exactly like the one on Elpis. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Okay. Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient made entity exists upon this satellite. The one they call the Watcher. Oh yeah. I would speak to him. Alright, I'll take a jump. Flip. Then conserve your ether. We will ride this Argos to our destination, as you have suggested. Leon said take the Argos outside? Doge! Conserve your ether? More like conserve your fucking money, right? Because, you know. We got to see Aetherite teleportations in cutscenes this time around, finally. But they still don't acknowledge the guild cost. Although I do think they did talk a little about that during MSQ at some point. I think. They briefly touched upon the guild cost of Aetherite teleportation. Can't quite remember right now. Argos is pointedly ignoring the existence of Omega and Alpha. Oh shit. Yeah. Just like it did with me in Elpis until I sparred with Vena. Right. Quack quack! Quack quack quack! Oh, I didn't even see his expressions. Okay. Bloop! Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis. Upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. Oh, what? Sorry, what? Trial did what? Upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of a fluff-based hierarchy. My station in such a system would be predictably low, but Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Man, it's because that's not what it is, man. It's not the fluffiness. Argos turns to you with an impassive gaze. It seems you will need to intervene. You're the fluffiest of them all, dear Argos. Did that work? Argos gives an exasperated snort before motioning to his back. It seems you have permission to climb aboard. Oh my god. Bloop. You have secured the creature's permission. Curious. You must have special standing in the fluffiness hierarchy. Well yeah. You'd say that. Bloop. I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let us continue on to the Watcher at once. Is it just me, or does something feel off about the brightness settings? I think it's just me. My outfit looks very faded. Let me see her. No? I think it's good. I didn't notice any discrepancies there. No, but for real, like, right before she came in, I was looking at my outfit thinking it looked a little faded for some reason. Like, it didn't look dark enough, but I think it's just the surrounding lighting. Blip! The Watcher located. An estimate of this being's height explains the inconvenient scale of Bestwade's burrow. I think I know what he means, yeah. Alpha? Quack! Quack, quack, quack! Sir? I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. Yeah, kind of. What the hell's going on behind me? Oh, somebody left and someone else showed up. What a rare thing for my abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Well? Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the Ancients. Like, fuck, I can't tilt the camera to get everybody in the shot. This is weird. There, that's good. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts. I would understand why the final days was visited upon my home star. A worthy endeavor, but there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancients you met during your travels, Leon? My fragmented memories would be a pale substitute indeed for the clarity of your more recent experiences. You mean when I went to Helpus? No Helpus. I wonder what story he's telling right now. Emmett Selk, Hythlodaeus, and Hermes. I'm guessing he's telling him everything that happened in Helpus. Now I'm actually calling it Helpus without it being a joke. I'm starting to pronounce the H for no reason. Yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Bana and Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus. The sorrow and determination of Hermes. Yep. No Helpus. I am a creation of Hydaelyn, and as such I believe the age of the ancients would fade and be forgotten. Yet, knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you, it brings me great joy. I pray you keep them close to your heart. Yeah, of course. Gotta give old man Hythlo a reminder of what fragment he is. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar at Anador. A shame. Had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. Wait. At the time of... yeah, that... okay. Oh, I see. He's saying if I had traveled to Academia Anador during my time in Elpis, during that time period, then I would have met this person's original form, I suppose. The person, this spirit, I guess, is modeled after. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Bana. They spent long hours trading theories or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet, well, I remember, quote-unquote, joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet, of the events surrounding that tragedy, I recall precious little. Hydaelyn wished for the people of your age to decide their own path. Thus, I suspect my recollection was limited by design. She gave you limited memories on purpose, then. Yet even she could not cut away one persistent memory. What's that? I feel most distinctly his sadness at what was to come to pass. That in becoming Hydaelyn's heart, Bana would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. Okay. If she were so resolved in her convictions, then he, too, would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Bana as her transformation took hold. His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion. For though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as the Watcher of the Moon. Okay, so there were... basically that confirms that a lot of people who were with Bana on creating Hydaelyn to bind Zodiark were also sacrificed in the summoning of Hydaelyn, just like half the world population was sacrificed to summon Zodiark. He was one of the people who was sacrificed to make Hydaelyn. That explains why she was able to recreate him as a familiar, like this. I like how his robes kind of match Hydaelyn's sort of color scheme a little bit. Low-key there. And you heard, Leon. You felt. You thought. Hear, feel, think. Okay. I gotcha. Hear, feel, think. You heard, felt, and thought. And in seizing the future for yourselves, have you brought full circle the saga which Bana began. What you accomplished was no divine miracle. It was but the beacon of hope, passed down from one generation to the next. A succession of wishes and prayers reshaping the star into the world we knew you deserved. I like that. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not only as myself, but as the man I once was, and on behalf of those who devoted themselves to Vanal's vision. Right, because that was the main disagreement between Zodiark and Heidelin's followers, way back before they even, before the Sundering, was that Zodiark's followers wanted to bring back what they had lost, including the people who were sacrificed to make Zodiark in the first place, but that would have just required more sacrifices, so they were going to sacrifice newer people being brought into the world. Vana and her followers decided that wasn't fair to new lives being born into the world to just be sacrificed to bring back the old ones that were lost. That was just bullshit in their eyes, so that's why they did what they did. Summoning Heidelin and sundering the world and all that stuff. Bloop. Bloop. I understand the facts of your story, Leon, but not how you have chosen to process them. On what grounds do you speak of Vana with such fondness? Okay, he's about to talk about how we should rightfully be pissed off at Heidelin for sundering the world or something like that, right? Alpus was legit a 50-50 split. Those lines bring back to perfection. Those lines only remember and move on. I never remember seeing anything in the lore that said they were exactly 50-50 though. But like I thought they were always vague about how many people actually followed Vanon, how many people followed the convocation instead. If they did mention it somewhere in the story, I forgot. I don't remember them saying that it was exactly a 50-50 split. Anyway. By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so caused irreparable damage to its individual members. Yeah, because we're not perfect anymore. Basically, we're not whole. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emmett Selk and his brethren. Yeah. Query. If the survival of your kind is a deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial, forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you? Yeah, that's something people have talked about quite a bit when analyzing the story of Endwalker, yeah. If it wasn't for what Hermes did, we might have ended up exactly like the people of, in general, like the other civilizations that died, but also, mainly somebody pointed this out. I think it was, again, in that same interview with Yoshi P and, Ishikawa with Famitsu. They talked about how the people of Atheris, before it was sundered, looked a lot like even what they were wearing, looked and acted a lot like the people from the last place in the final dungeon, the Dead Ends. I forgot what it was called, where you fight the final boss of that dungeon, Rala, I think it was. I forgot if that's his name or not, but they were close to achieving perfection, and if they had, they would have ended up like that. They would have eventually just lost the desire to live, and yeah, they would have died like all the other civilizations that gave in to despair and all that. So yeah, that's what Omega's saying. If it wasn't for what Hermes did with Medion and what Medion did, we wouldn't be around anymore. And yeah, he's absolutely right. That is probably what would have happened, and I think that was... They made it pretty clear that that was Benah's way of thinking when she became Heidelin and sundered the world. That's why she did it. She said, during her final moments, right, she said that, what she did was unforgivable. She caused so much pain and anguish and, basically, well, I guess to use this Even though it's not entirely appropriate for this tone right now, but
Emotional damage.
all the damage she caused by sundering the worlds, you know, she doesn't like that she did it and that she had to do it. She, you know, somewhat regrets it, but at the same time she felt it was necessary because of the way people were behaving when they kind of just wanted to return to that perfect paradise where there was like little to no suffering at all. Yeah, I like what Omega's saying here. From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omicron's ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machine, so that our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from other races. It was an unprecedented attempt, accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Their early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. And what of Emmett Self himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddled with tragic fate. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events across the entire star. During that time, I witnessed his Ascians engineer multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. Excuse me. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame relied upon the extinction of all modern mortals must, by definition, be your worst enemy. Well, they kind of were for a while. Because, yeah, they were doing that, and we didn't know why, and they didn't explain themselves too well either. They just kept telling us to go fuck ourselves. I require an answer. As a being of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? None of them were. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer. Yet based on our experiences, Leon and I might develop very different opinions. Yeah. I had to think long and hard about that one. They all had their own personal reasons for doing what they did. Emmett Self wanted to undo what Vanah did. Hermes is the one who started it all just by doing what he did with Medion. I understand why they all did what they did. But it was never any one of their rights to decide the fate of everyone else. They were all basically playing God. Taking the fate of the entire world, the entire star and its people, all of humanity, into their own hands every time each of them did what they did. Emmett Self, Vanah, and Hermes. And no one person should have the right or the power to do that. To decide every single person's fate like that. That's why I arrived at that conclusion, that none of them were justified. But it is what it is. For better or worse, the past is the past. They did what they did, because in that moment they each felt what they were doing was right. So that's why I chose that answer. In the same fashion, you are free to form your own thoughts on the matter. Do not be so swift to consider them without merit. I bet that answer choice is a subject of great debate amongst FF14 fans. Well, you know, people who focus on the story anyway. I bet that question right there and the answer choices we got and everything, I bet a lot of different people gave a different answer for that. That's gotta be a very divisive subject. With people arguing about whether Hermes was the one who was right in doing what he did, or Vana, or Emmett Selk, or they were all right in their own way, or none of them were right in their own way, like I said. I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. I assess each situation with the same logic pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, they would all return the same result, regardless of individual experience. There is no strength to be found in fractured reasoning. Yeah, I guess, to summarize what I was thinking when I made that answer choice just now, I found a better way to explain it, I suppose. It's just like, each of them acted like a dictator when they did what they did. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was like. They weren't justified, but, you know, it is what it is. What's done is done. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable. Recording data alongside interview results. This concludes my investigation into the incomplete elements of the final day's report. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Okay. Flip. Let us return to Thomazane. Well, Alpha's happy about that. I almost said Que. Like, Que's happy about that. I don't know why I almost said that, but... And it was pleasant to hear your tales about this. Should you ever need an audience familiar with the subject, I would be glad to listen to more of your recollections. Even with one's gaze fixed upon the future, we oftentimes find our thoughts drifting to the past. It is a shame that Heidel never chose to speak of it. Because she was too busy looking forward to the future. Alright, let me catch up on chat a little bit. Not exact 50-50, but I think you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I get it. I always figured Vana's faction was probably smaller, but since they were always vague about it, who really knows? And I don't think it was smaller by a large margin either. Or, yeah. Yeah, I think even if Vana's faction was smaller than the Convocations, I think it was probably still pretty robust. Like, there's no way, you know, just a very tiny-ass little group was enough to create a being strong enough to sunder the world like that and be able to imprison Zodiark. So I do think she had quite the following, but I still think it was I just personally think it was probably smaller than Zodiark's following. You wonder how different it would be if Hythlodaeus let Emmett Selk join into Zodiark instead of him going. That's a very good question, Crimson. Yeah. If Emmett Selk had become a part of Zodiark and he had been sacrificed instead, and Hythlodaeus had been in Zodiark, or sorry, in Emmett Selk's spot instead. Yeah, how different would the Asians, the later faction known as the Asians when they formed after the Sundering, like, how different would they have been if Hythlodaeus had been one of them instead of, Like, it brings up the question, would he have been, like, the voice of reason in telling them to not go through with that? Or would he also have shared Emmett Selk and the rest of the Convocation's ideals, the rest of the Asians' ideals, in wanting to bring back the old world? I said they were justified in their own ways. Yeah, I can see both sides of it, honestly. I can see people, like, I definitely wouldn't hold it against anyone saying that either. Because my first instinct was to say that as soon as the answer choices popped up. And then I read the individual names, and I kept thinking about it for a long time, and I was just like, no, it wasn't for any of them to decide all of humanity's future by themselves. So that's why I personally decided to go with that instead. And I do apologize for pausing for such a long time. I just kind of sat there in my own thoughts for a while, but I really wanted to think about my answer for that one. I felt like it was a pretty important question. So, in the end, that's where my heart led me, was to say that I don't think any of them were justified because they all took all of humanity's lives into their own hands, basically, without anyone else's permission. Like they all individually tried to decide the fate of the entire world based on their own selfish ideals and opinions and yada yada. So I was like, that basically just makes them dictators with what they did. But I also still don't hold, like, that isn't to say that I'm like demonizing them either and vilifying them. I also don't hold a grudge against any of them for what they did. Because they did have their reasons. So it is a complex subject. And that's one of the things a lot of people love about Final Fantasy games in general, because they tend to be complex with their themes and their storylines. And this is just the most recent example of that. That's what makes them so good, is what I was getting at, yeah. That's what makes the plot of these games so good, is that they're always complex and the characters are always complex. There's never... Good guys aren't always just complete good guys. They're not just complete goody two-shoes, and bad guys aren't just complete, evil fucks for no reason. They always... the good guys are always can always be a little bit shady here and there. They're, like anti-heroes a little bit. Not all good guys in Final Fantasy games tend to be anti-heroes, but at least in more recent times, they are kind of a little bit. And not, most bad guys in Final Fantasy games are also they're not just evil for the sake of being evil either. I think the last and only example I can think of right now is Final Fantasy II, Emperor Polymecia. He was a pretty one-dimensional character. That's the word I was looking for. None of the characters are one-dimensional in well-written stories. And Final Fantasy stories tend to be pretty well-written, so they don't... most of them, anyway. So they don't really make one-dimensional characters where somebody's just evil for the sake of being evil or someone's just good for the sake of being good. But they were like that at first, though. In Final Fantasy 1 and 2, Emperor Polymecia from FF2, but also, I would say... Garland from FF1, and their counterparts, the Warriors of Light and the main characters of FF2, were pretty one-dimensional in being just good guys and bad guys, just generic, But the stories became quickly a lot more complex as we saw through the marathon, like in FF4 especially. From FF4 onwards, you see a lot more complexity and more depth to the writing, and you see less and less one-dimensional characters as that goes on, as the games go on from there. So it's pretty cool. I think it's something that Asmongold talked about too, right? Him or someone else when they were playing through MSQ? Yeah, I think it was Asmongold. When he was playing through MSQ, I think it was around Stormblood, but he probably talked about it a little bit before that too. He also did like that the characters were not one-dimensional. That bad guys weren't just, they weren't just bad for no reason. And we talked about this pretty recently too, Crimson, when we were talking about the Garleans not too long ago on a different stream. Yeah. So yeah, it's a complex issue for sure. So I chose the answer that my heart wanted to go with, but I really don't begrudge anyone else picking a different answer either. It's just like, yeah, everybody's gonna have a different viewpoint on this. So you'd still say Hermes gave Twitter a hard question to get an answer to. Which question in particular are you referring to? Just in general what he did before he sent Medion off? Or like... I think I know what you mean, but I kind of need a refresher is all I'm saying. I might need a refresher on that, but I think I know what you mean. Unless when you're saying Twitter, you're referring to actual Medion? You're just making the joke that she's like a Twitter bird? Oh, okay. I thought for a moment when you said that Hermes gave Twitter a hard question to get an answer to, I thought you were referring to like. Okay, I thought you meant Hermes' question if posed to a bunch of people on social media. I didn't catch on until just now that you just meant Medion, because she looks like a Twitter bird when she's in bird form. Yeah. So I thought you were referring to like the trial that he put us under. That he subjected us to when Medion became evil. I got a little confused there. Yeah. Hermes did give us all a much-needed reality check, though, right? With the way they were treating their creations, the familiars that they made on Elpis. I can see totally why he did what he did. At, what the hell is the name of that dungeon? Where that all goes down when Medion turns evil and he says we deserve to be put to the test like what Medion's gonna do to us with the final days and all that. Catesis Hyperborea, right? I think that was the name of the dungeon. No, back in Elpis, when that whole thing goes down. Quack. You know what's really cool about doing this? It allows you to go back and play Endwalker with a fresh perspective, with this whole post Endwalker analysis, which is what all these quests are doing, basically. All these quests, even though a lot of these are like 6.1 now, they're just going back to analyze everything that happened in Endwalker, which is really nice. It helps you in two ways, like you get to relive your memories of when you first played through it, but also you can now go back with a fresh perspective with the new knowledge you've acquired from these post-game quests and reanalyze everything from a new perspective, I guess. In a way. Flip. Leon, I wasn't sure you'd be back in time. You had a fruitful trip, I hope? I'm absolutely bursting to ask about your experiences with Omega, but I don't wish to be a pest. I will swallow my questions for now and maintain my academic decorum. Besides, it seems our engineering friends are in a hurry to leave. I will swallow my questions for now? They really made a catgirl say that. Thanks, Square Enix, for putting those words into a catgirl's mouth. They know what they're doing. Ah, there you are. Right at the last moment. Sorry we're late. Your journey with Omega was properly educational, I hope. We planned to ask you all about it in that mystery transmission besides, but I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Seems one of our Ironworks associates has fouled up a job elsewhere, and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend a hand. There's an airship already waiting for us out in the harbor, in fact. Do you think you could escort us over there and talk as we walk? Look, acceptable. I am fully capable of speech during ambulation. I figured you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. She swallowed her question, she says. Why do they gotta play this music, man? Fuck. So, you've cleared up all those points of confusion then? I gotta read fast here. I don't control the pace. I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. An uncanny power that Omicrons could neither learn nor even measure. Okay. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Based upon our investigations, however, I have decided to alter my definition. What do you think he's got? Dude, like, everyone except Alpha and Omega are wearing glasses. A phenomenon which influences one's interpretation of reality. Or just some kind of spectacle, you know, goggles. He's got goggles, she has glasses, I got sunglasses. Wedge. That is as close to an answer as I have found. Alpha has them, but on his head. Okay, I control it now. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon meeting Meteon strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Sir did not follow routine logic, but formulated an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for the Omicrons was to cease their expansion and terminate all functions. Well, here's our ship. We need to be going. But first, I'll hold you to your bargain, Omega. It's time you told us what was in that transmission from the flight logs. Look, acknowledge. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. The recording salvaged from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in a net loss of value. Shall I continue? Now you're just teasing. Tell us the message already. Acknowledged. Converting dialect coding to local language. To whomever receives this message out there in the vast reaches of the cosmos, to someone, I hope, who looks up at the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine, to you, I say, forge ahead. May all our tomorrows be blessed with joy. Someone else out there who hasn't given up, huh? This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet based upon their expressions, my assessment of the transmission's value conflicts with its apparent impact. And still, I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? It defies all my attempts at reasoning. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomenon is greater than 0. So just don't give up, right? You'll get it someday. So I will put the dilemma of your decision aside for now. And continue my existence upon this distant star. As I dwell among these many life forms, so will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. I must document their progress. God, this is such a beautiful, like, addition to the Omega storyline. I fucking love it. Quiet! Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Leon. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return to traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I am confident we can expand the radius of our ventures by a significant margin. We need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am now familiar with Charlian and Razatan, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garlemald. Bloop. The fuck? I neglected to instruct Higgs and West to upgrade my climate shielding. He fucking forgot. Damn. Flip. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jesse. Yeah, there you go. Engaging ambulation and parting salutation. Farewell, Leon. Take it easy, buddy. You too, little Alpha. Alpha gives a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under his wing. What? What's this? Seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps this is his way of thanking you? What's this? Float together. Oh shit, this is how you get this song? Wow. When you saw that, you thanked Yoshi P? Yeah, because you really like the song, don't you? That's really neat. You wanted it since you finished Endwalker. Holy shit. I'm sure you're not the only one, yeah. I think a lot of people were like, thank you, Yoshi, for making it, you know. God, what a trip, dude. Flip. Swiftly, Alpha. The road is long and we have barely begun our journey. Omega's like, hurry the fuck up, fool! New chapter of New Game Plus. There we go. I'm so glad they gave this questline a New Game Plus feature for it. Sadly, that means it's pretty much over. They're not going to add more to it for this expansion anyway. I mean, it probably means they're not going to add more to it this expansion, but who can say what the future holds, though? Maybe in later expansions they'll revisit this again, but who knows? Still, it's kind of neat. I like how everybody looked up at the sky when thinking about that transmitted message. The realization that there are still others out there who haven't given up. There are still other civilizations out there in the Sea of Stars somewhere, with people on it who still have the same hopes and dreams and desires that we do. Like the message itself said, right? They look up to the stars with the same sort of musings, wishful thinking, and all that. That was beautiful. I liked it. Also, another great little trip down memory lane for Endwalker, which is also good. So, that just leaves us with Tataru and Hildebrand, which I think both are probably going to be a lot more lighthearted and filled with their own brand of humor, I'm guessing. But this one was a very deep, melancholic, philosophical journey. And I liked it. I love that shit. Again, Final Fantasy in general tends to do that, but... yeah, this was really good. I gotta get that little Omega minion now. I love the little cute sound effect of Omega's footsteps, you know? Like I said, I think I even have it in an alt. You know, I have to check right now before I actually, like, sign off for the night. I should check. I'm pretty sure one of my alts actually got it when I played through the Omega storyline. Yeah, I mean, after 6.2 we'll have better gear too. Once we upgrade our gear with the new stuff. So it should be even shorter after that. I don't know what the item level cap is going to increase to with 6.2, but we'll be a hell of a lot stronger, so then you won't need so many people. That's fine, it's not like I'm in a rush. I'm just saying in general. We'll be a lot stronger once we get the new item level cap. Which means my next playthrough of this game, New Game Plus mode, will be even faster, because I'll kill everything that much faster. Whew, but at the rate that I'm going at, because I got a little burnt out of streaming in general, and but also from FF14, with story progression and all that, that's why I'm barely doing this now. At the rate that I'm going at, my next playthrough of this entire game will probably not be until, like, the next patch comes out, I bet, since I have so many other games I want to play first. But yeah. Milady. Ladies. Anyone else? I guess her too. Gentlemen? Yeah, I acknowledge the gentleman too. Maybe not as often, but... One more day till we're yeeted. It's so weird to me, it's only going to be an 8-hour... I'm so used to, like, new patches being 24-hour maintenances. It's only going to be 8 hours. From 7 PM my time to, like, 3 AM. I was like, what? Alright. Not bad, I guess. Cool. Anyway, yeah, let me check. I swear, I think one of my other characters might actually have, the Omega minion already. Maybe. I don't know. I'll take Zara first. Oh, so I did a trial roulette earlier on Zara, and I ended up getting Sephiroth, and there was at least half the party was in cutscene. Like, they were actually just, it's like it was their first time, I think. So somebody in the party who obviously just got there from a roulette like me, they were like, wow, people must be prepping for the new Unreal. Do you think that's a thing, Crimson? Do you know anybody who's like, they're barely doing the Warring Triad storyline now just so that they can unlock the Unreal version of Sephiroth later when 6.2 drops? Or do you think he was just... Yeah, I don't know. It was strange to see 4 different people who it was their first time. Like half the damn raid. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, holy shit. Yeah, but what I'm saying is I would have thought that by now they probably already, you know, went back to do the side content they missed. But I guess some of them waited till they had another reason, like the Unreal stuff, I guess. I don't know. Ah, see, look, she's got it. OMG. Despite a striking resemblance to the extra-dimensional mechanical monstrosity that nearly ended your life, this miniature model of Omega does not but follow in your wake. Much of the Garland Ironworks posits it may have been created to observe your behavior. There he is. Look at him. He even makes a little sound. Yeah, but he doesn't do it as fast, look. It's not the same. Make OMG fight Shinryu? Oh, he's getting ready, look, he heard you. He's prepping. It's too bad he doesn't... OMG smaller than Omega? Well, see, when I do that storyline with Zera now, I can compare their sizes, because she actually has this one. What sucks is he doesn't do the same... the same little, like, scuttling, you know? He just... kind of... He takes bigger steps. You can hear it. It's funny. Here. I'll get rid of the visual distraction for a little bit. Give Zara some clothes because she just got out of bed. Sprinting, you say? I'll have to go somewhere else then. We'll get rid of the visual distraction. Let's see. No. It still doesn't do it. They gotta update it, man. I want to see him do the little scuttle that actual Omega did, you know? I want to see it actually go... when it was following me around in the quest lines just now, I love that shit. Is that how he reacts to being petted? Or is that just... was that a coincidence? Oh, she smiles with the... okay. I think all characters smile, don't they, when they pet something? Okay. Wait, no, that was the wrong one. Examine self. I do like that every race and gender gets their own version of that. Of certain emotes. That is pretty neat. So sometimes I do wish, you know... I do wish you could use... and you do too, you've said this many times before, Crimson, right? That you could use certain emotes that other characters and races have. Yeah. I felt that with Leon earlier when I updated the adventure plate. I really wish he could have used the same emote that I used with Alice to make her adventure plate, because it looks so much better. That portrait is way better than Leon's. He just didn't... his just didn't come out the same way. Anyway. That's enough eye candy for the people watching this video. No, I will check Alice just to see if she also has OMG. Maybe Leon's the only one who got screwed over. Animations to fit more with how you want your character personality to be. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That would be nice to have more freedom of being able to use different emotes for that reason, yeah. It would expand the possibilities for roleplay in general. And not just roleplay like with other people in the traditional sense, like RPing with other people or ERP and all that shit, but also like... I just feel like, when you play this game and you make a character, whether it's an extension of yourself or not, you start to envision a certain personality type for your character. So, you do wish you could actually make them move in certain ways. Like, so, Alice here. I get thrown off when during MSQ there's certain segments where she will do a certain emotes. Like your character will do a certain emote for a certain part of MSQ. And hers are just so far off from everyone else's. Like, I think, not the stretch, but the examine self I just did. You saw how Zara just kind of, she actually examined herself, right? She kind of just did this, right? That happens when you're in Favner with, you're doing the MSQ where you get flooded with ether multiple times with the little lamp that walks around and talks. What's her name? Nidana's quest. Before you even go to the Tower of Zod, she gets captured and all that. Every time you get flooded with the ether to test your resistance to primal influence, I guess, your character examines themselves. The animation for Leon and Zera was fine, it's on point. They actually look down at themselves and do this. But the self-examine for Viera, on the other hand, I mean, it looks... I guess she's checking herself out, technically, but this part throws me off a little. It's just like, is she checking herself out, or is she posing for someone that's not there? Like, is she posing for a model shoot? Like, which is it? You know what I mean? Like, what does the stretch look like? Okay. Fair enough. What's the other one? Actual pose. I don't think I have that one. Slash joy on VR. Yeah, that's one that's also like, what the fuck? That's like so subtle. Like I think other races and genders actually make a fucking noise, and she just kind of. Again, is she actually expressing joy, or is she just modeling for a photo shoot? What is this? Another one is Flash Happy, right? It's like, okay, I guess it gives off the vibe of actually being like, like being happy, but it just seems so... At least that fits. You probably shouldn't lop off her own ears doing all that. Holy shit. But actually, let me see it again. Holy fuck. Yeah, no, they made it correctly. The scythe never actually... Let me see it from the top. Oh my god, I'd be so scared of chopping off my own ears if I had them that big doing that shit, man. But yeah, there's certain expressions where you're just kind of like... With Viera in particular, they have this issue. Again, you just never know if they're actually expressing what you told them to express with that emote, or if they're just posing for a model shoot. That's another good one. Well, we already saw... We saw all of them, right? It was... This is examine self. Right. So stretch. That's... Okay, fair. That's an actual stretch. It's better than the male here one. The male here stretch is so weak. And then, yeah, the joy and happy ones we already saw. Yeah, so there's emotes like that you see them in MSQ and you're just kind of like... Well, with Alice, I was like... That doesn't... I'm not sure that's what I was thinking in my head when I pictured her expressing joy. It's like the Viera, they try so hard to be like graceful and elegant in what they do that it's like they kind of mute the expression a little bit and it throws you off because other races don't do that. I can't wait to see that when streaming MSQ with this character. That's gonna be interesting. Fist pump? Let me see. Oh, okay, that one's legit. That one's not that bad. Let's see it again. Yeah, that one's not too bad. Let me see the, Yeah, see, this came out way better. I showed Leon's earlier. This is a much better pose. Like, Leon definitely got shafted. I can't make him pose like this. I had to substitute with what I have instead for him. I don't know if you were there at the beginning of the stream when I showed it. Like, this is a much cooler pose. I was like, damn, Leon can't do this. Anyway, I guess that's it for this stream. And this video in general. We finished the storyline like 15 minutes ago. We've just been dicking around now. Talking about how your character makes some really wacky emotes sometimes. That doesn't always... Well, it depends on your character's gender and race. Sometimes their emotes don't always fit too properly with what's happening in the story when they do them in MSQ, or you're required to do them for MSQ. But I guess that's just kind of another layer of charm that this game just has, if you just kind of roll with it, right? It is what it is. I'm just logging back in to show, by comparison, what I was able to do with Leon's adventure plate. To substitute for the fact that he can't do that same emote, the examine self one, that Alice can do. I had to work with what I had. I think I ended up using the joy emote to make Leon's adventure plate. And it's almost like a parody of Alice's. You see, for hers it said professional bodyguard. I put the same thing for Leon, but I added a little something extra. My signature for this character. Which is my signature in general, when it comes to Final Fantasy in particular. Look. Professional bodyguard, ... Kupo. And there's a little Moogle there. I'm thinking of changing Zara's, or Alice's, to something slightly different, like... I won't even spoil it. You'll find out when I change it, which I was probably thinking of changing it tonight. But yeah, I'll get around to that probably after the stream's over, which is like in a few seconds. Because, yeah, we're all done here, folks. Why did we even go down that road? Oh, right, yeah, the emo thing and also Omega. Rank 6 on Moogles now. Does that get you a new emote or something? There's a lot of ranks. These tribes take a while, don't they? Jesus. Whew. Anyway, yeah, like I said, that's all for today, folks. Sorry for all this extra... Well, if you stuck around, it's probably because you like my incessant rambling and me and Crimson's little banter here when we talk about random weird shit. But for those of you who, you know, nevertheless... For those of y'all who stuck around to the end, even after we finished the little Omega storyline, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And to everyone who watched regardless, I thank you all very much for the support across Twitch and YouTube. Appreciate all the likes, subscribes, follows, and all that stuff across those platforms. So, yeah, as always, please take care of yourselves, look after each other, stay safe out there, and until next time, please have a good morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I will likely stream again tomorrow morning. I want to try to get my the side content that we still have left to do. I want to try to get it done before the patch starts. The patch is tomorrow at 7 p.m. I usually wake up around between 7 and 9 a.m. my time. So I will have like just under 12 hours to get the Hildebrand and Tataru questline done. And if I don't, well, it's no big deal. But I want to get it done because they're going to add more to those two storylines in particular. I think are going to be added to in 6.2. I don't know about the Hildebrand one, actually. Don't quote me on that. I'm assuming that just because they're adding the relic and it's going to be related to Hildebrand. But I know Tataru's questline will be expanded, I think, in 6.2. So I want to try to get the 6.1 version, the beginning part of it, done tomorrow at least. So I think we'll start with that one. And then we'll do the Hildebrand one. 6.25? Okay, good. So yeah, hopefully we can get that done before the patch, and then when the patch starts, obviously, well, I'll fuck off, and the next day will be... I can't promise I'll do, like, an all-day stream, but it probably is going to be another really long stream, you know, doing 6.2 MSQ, the raids, and then everything else after that. So that's the plan. It'll be my first time actually being fully caught up with everyone else, and then actually streaming myself doing the content for the first time, along with everyone else doing the content for the very first time at the same time. I'll get to see what it's like to actually blind prog a raid with everyone else, with no one knowing what the fuck they're doing or what the hell the mechanics are. That'll be interesting. Also, new trial, right? I don't know if they confirmed if it's going to be for MSQ or not, but I think the new trial's coming in 6.2, so we got a lot of shit. Like, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to be streaming for FF14 after tomorrow. But yeah. Anyway, that's the plan for tomorrow. I already said my goodbyes, so I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone. Whew. Talk myself. Oh, I should hide this. Hold on. People talking there. There we go. Alright, take it easy, everyone. Trial series? Yeah, hopefully. Oh, wait. My signature. Not really a signature, but still. Not the fucking... I think that's twice that's happened, man. I accidentally target the damn diary over there. Maybe some light reading before bed, yeah. Retreading our old memories. Now, when that happened, I was more like Jacob. Apparently that sound effect just broke. Yep, I can't find it anymore. Oh well, I'll just use this one to substitute.
Bullshit!